Hi, thank you for watching the Korin Product Show. My name is Alex Chen. I'm one of the showroom consultants here at Korin Japanese Trading. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite type of knives, which is the Santoku. The special thing about the Santoku is that it has a sort of a straighter edge. Now, what this shape allows you to do is allow you to do more of a chopping rather than sort of slicing heavy on that of a chef knife. Now that is very important in the home cooking is really because that the majority of the material that you buy from the supermarket or from your local vendor is already portioned for you, especially the meat. Let me just start off by introducing one of our home brand, which is the Toharu. Both of these, as you can see, have a very standard Santoku shape. The Damascus is very popular to a lot of the people who sort of want their knife to look nice as well as perform nice. This knife have a 50-50 edge. The edge on this is definitely professional quality. On the Rockwell scale, it ranks about a 58, which is not exactly on the hardest side, but definitely hard enough to use as a professional cook and easy to sharpen as well. Next up, we have the Toharu Inox. This one have a 70-30 edge, so it will be slightly sharper than on the Damascus. Very, very similar in terms of hardness, 58 as well. To some people, it might not be aesthetically pleasing, but however, when it comes to functioning, it definitely have a sharper edge, so therefore, it might be more functional to some cooks. Now, Glesting is a very interesting knife in the fact that it does have a lot of hollow grounding, as you see over here. A lot of you might or might not know that this hollow grounding actually allows you to create air pockets between the material that you're cutting and the food. A lot of times when you're cutting things like potatoes or tomatoes or onions that they tend to stick to the knife, it sort of just makes the whole cooking process take longer due to the fact that you're constantly doing this and try to wipe it off. Now this basically enables the food, the material rather, to fall off the knife right away as you're cutting, so it saves you a lot of time. And next we have the Misono Handmade. Now this knife have very soft steel. This one will also be easier for those people who are beginning to learn how to sharpen or simply want to sharpen from home. So this kind of steel will not be too harsh on you. And over here we have the 440. The 440's construction is very, very similar to that on the Misono Handmade, which is the molybdenum. It basically takes the same molybdenum material, however it reinforces it with chromium and sulfur and other materials. In plain old English, this one will be the more harder and longer lasting edge version of the original Misono Handmade. Lastly, we have the final notes here, which is the Misono UX10. Now, the Misono UX10 uses completely different steel from the previous two knives that I mentioned. The reason being that Misono UX10 uses a Swedish steel. Now, what's the special thing about the Swedish steel is that it's obviously from Sweden. A lot of the knife makers as well as knife users crave this kind of steels because that the Swedish steel have a much higher purity than your normal steel. Another special thing I should mention about the UX10 throughout the entire line is that it does have a nickel bolster over here, which sort of enable the weight to sit right on your finger instead of being handle heavy or blade heavy. This knife is going to be very, very well balanced. Lastly, I want to talk about these two Santokus here. The reason why I saved them for last is because I don't know if you could tell that these two knives have a pointier shape than the ones that I have shown you guys before. Now, the pointed shape on the knife is ideal to those who are not sure whether or not they want to use a Santoku, or simply that they are not sure if they want to let go of their chef knife altogether. This shape is sort of a crossover in between the chef knife and the Santoku in the fact that it doesn't have as straight of an edge. You're sort of still getting that little bit of a chef knife tip. It sort of enables you to do a little bit more of a rocking motion if you so choose. Both of these are also still very, very hard steel. This is the Sweden Korin double brand. As you can see from the orange handle, definitely a very, very different knife. Now, the special thing about this knife, besides the pointed tip, is that it have a traditional Japanese octagon handle. Now, this handle is supposed to be more ergonomical in terms of usage. However, I do want to mention that for some chefs coming from the Western side, it might take some time to get used to. However, once you get used to this knife is actually very, very good in terms of handling, in terms of balance. It has the same nickel bolster that you have seen on the UX10 knives. Just to wrap up, the Santoku knife is a very ideal knife for home use as well as professional use. And the fact that it has a very unique shape that's very, very great for chopping, and also the smaller size is ideal for those who are looking for a small knife. Either they are not comfortable with a bigger knife or they just simply don't have the space. So the next time that you purchase a knife, please take Santoku knife into one of your considerations.